solución a la vista. Así que vamos a salir de la estación.
Okay, absolutely insane breaking news. Multiple countries in Europe are currently dealing with major nationwide power outages. So the worst affected seems to be Portugal and Spain, and multiple cities in those two countries like Madrid and Lisbon. Traffic lights have turned off, trains have gone dark, shops and restaurants, they've lost power. The Madrid Open, that's had to be suspended because the power cut mid-play. The Spanish railway operators, they said that the entire grid just cut. And so there's these videos of people walking in these dark tunnels like, what the hell is going on? So this obviously has caused major chaos, but mostly confusion as well, because as of right now, like recording, no one really knows what is going on. And it's crazy because this is nationwide and multiple countries as well. And there's still no idea. The Spanish government were the first to comment, and they said that they are holding an emergency meeting to determine the cause. There are also some reports of parts of France being affected, and also Belgium as well. And people are also reporting that cell service went down, like Wi-Fi and like things like WhatsApp messages. They weren't even going through. Oh, and how's this one for ironic? They've had to go back to cash. Long queues have started forming at ATMs because card payments and contactless payments, they're also down. And this is literally within an hour I'm recording this of when it's all going off. So how quickly things can deteriorate without power. Insane. As soon as we figure out what the cause is, I'll make an update. See you then.
Okay, I don't want to sound super alarmist here, but what the hell is going on? In Spain, Portugal, and parts of France, the entire electricity grid is down. Meaning, obviously, nothing is working, because in our modern day and age, almost everything that you can imagine is electricity powered. Think traffic lights, think the airports, hospitals hopefully have generators, but imagine the sheer chaos that is unfolding in those nations right now, and the lives that it will probably cost. What's going on? Is this a cyber attack, or is it something as innocent as grid failure? Because if it is, it should make us think twice about the net zero agenda that is pushing towards full and total just electricity powered functioning of society, essentially, because they want to get rid of anything fossil fueled. Scary. This is Europe 2025. We should be a developed continent, and 3 major countries have zero electricity right now. I hope this gets fixed soon, because, like I said, we have to pray for the people there, because chaos erupts very, very soon when everything stops working.
Frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. the COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. General Green here. So I have a major emergency alert. Breaking news super early out here in Hawaii. Massive blackout, some kind of atmospheric blackout, an unknown mystery, shocks the world. Madrid, Spain, Portugal come to a grinding halt. They are in darkness right now. Remember, I did a video on this like a month or so ago. I said they were running a test run with the blackout in Chile. Remember that? Those are my exact words. Now, big portions of Europe are in panic. People are panic buying at the supermarkets. There's hysteria. If you're on the ground in this part of the world, you still have an internet connection, please update us. There's not a lot of information yet, but this is massive. It's an emergency. Another point being, why real estate with no bank debt's the best investment in the world? Because again, when the blackouts hit, will your bank work? Is your ATM going to work? Will you have food and supplies? Hopefully a roof over your head? Again, I'm telling you to get your money out of the banks. There is either some kind of engineered front by the powers that be to bring down this grid, and or it could be some kind of atmospheric unknown event that the elites like Elon Musk, others, Trump know about. A cosmic event. It's not like they tell you anyways. They never tell you anything. 2020 was a test run for what you're going to see roll out in 2025. I told you this. You're far too complacent. The worst of the worst is coming. You better get your ass in gear.
Breaking news, there has been a massive power outage today, Monday, April 28th, across Spain, Portugal, and parts of southern France. This has left millions stranded with no electricity, no internet, no transportation, public transportation, no way to buy food or call for help, and it has people panic buying at the grocery store and stocking up on essentials in case this continues to last. This map here shows you the areas that are affected and have no power in red. And as you can see, major cities like Madrid, Barcelona, Porto, and Lisbon are all currently without power. Officials are reporting that the cause of this major power grid outage is due to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. I find the timing of this to be especially odd considering that Klaus Schwab, the founder of the WEF, was ousted from his position just last week, a few days ago, and gave us this eerie warning last year.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole.
However this happened, I am hoping that it is resolved quickly so that the people in these areas can resume life as normal. What do you think went on here? As always, I want to hear down below. Breaking news.
There is no possible way that a lot of people know this is going on. Otherwise, it would not be going on. This is happening in Texas.
Breaking news, there has been a
Shalom, call halal YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High, name of His only begotten Son, name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers and elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom, 244,000. All right, real quick, this video is going into these power outages, okay, over a great portion of Europe, all right. And it's spiritual because, really all these countries are about to experience power outages. But I saw a video not too long ago, like last week, of a guy. He was talking about this. He was saying that there were going to be disruptions because of this, these phenomenons in the heavens and stuff. Scripture talk about the signs in the heavens, and all that stuff as well too. But it's all spiritual because really, everything that's done is through the hands of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And really what's going to happen is, once these lights go out, they're not coming back on. All right. There's going to come a day where the light's going to go out and they're not going to come back on. I'm not sure if, this power outage is still going on in those areas or if it was resolved. It happened yesterday, and I meant to go into it, but I had other things I wanted to go into real quick. So through the Spirit, I'm going into it now. But this right here just go to show you how fragile this society is, man. Okay, and when push comes to shove and all hell does break loose, and it's going to break loose, there's going to be no electricity. All right. The Lord's going to shut this place down. Okay. In a whole nother way. And you people out there, you're not ready for that, man. All right. You're not prayed up. You're not in the spirit. This right here says,
Le pillaba la presidenta.
Nexus isn't a device.
I won't go into that. Let me see. I put a lot of these in the post-production as you might have seen already. But let's see just what else in case I missed anything. All right. So, yeah, you get the picture. All right. So these blackouts, man, it's only going to increase. It's only going to get worse as time goes on, and eventually this place is going to be completely, shut down. And in the midst of that, a lot of people are going to lose their lives as well. I went into yesterday how the hospitals are closing. So pretty much just society as we know it is coming to an end. Okay, and call Allah YAHAWASHI for that, because in order for us to inherit our kingdom, this kingdom must fall. All right. Let's grab a few precepts. I don't want to make this too long. All right, as you see, let's go right here. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And the fashion of this world is passing away, man. All right, this world as we know it, which when you go into this word fashion, let's grab it. All right. It says, let's see, let's play it.
Strong's G 4976 schema.
It says the figure bearing discourse, actions, manner of life. All right, so the manner of life here is going to pass away. It says as a mode of circumstance, by implication, external condition, fashion. Okay, so the fashion of this world as we know it, the manner of life that we live in, in these last days, is going to pass away. The everyday, with these cities, these mega cities and whatnot, it's all going to shut down. Okay, and a good show to watch. I talk about it a lot, and I'm watching it the second season right now. Very, 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 very apart. But it's the show The Last of Us. Okay, I just watched the latest episode that came out, and they showed you the city of Seattle, and that city was completely, it was like the buildings was all torn up, and you had vegetation growing all over the buildings. All right, which means that the society collapsed, and that's what's coming to this world. In real time, this society is going to collapse, and not just in America, but all over the world. But it's going to be worse here in America. So we hear these things happen in these other countries, but understanding that it's going to be a lot worse here in America. Going back, it says, in NLT, it says, those who use the things of the world should not become attached to them. So you can't get too attached to the comforts of this world, whether it be, this internet, because when that power goes out, the internet goes out. When the power goes out, the internet goes out. The power, this heat, this AC, stuff like that. You can't get too attached to that stuff, because it's going to come a time where we're going to have to go without that stuff for a period of time. And if you get, to the point where you're too attached to it, you're going to end up being tempted to take that MOTB in order to go back to, that way of life. It says, for this world as we know it will soon pass away. And this is why you see these things happening in the earth where, this place is getting shut down, lights going out, and this is happening in these different countries. But when it comes to America, it's going to be worse. All right. People going to be losing their mind. All right. And one thing about America is they got all these guns over here. So people going to, feel like they got to do what they got to do to survive. It says 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And I brought this out a little bit earlier, but I'll go back and grab it again right here. Okay. This is the result of any type of catastrophe or any type of, emergency going on. People are going to go in here and, ransack these stores, snatching everything off the shelves, So this is a water aisle, And that's another thing too. If the power goes down, that means the water goes down. You know, if the power is down long enough, the water is going down too. All right, because everything everything is electric. Okay, and this is Twitter, formerly known as or X, formerly known as Twitter. A lot of information on this app. I always use it for you know, these breaking news, you know, scenarios. But it says and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Yeah, them sirens gonna start going off. You know, people gonna be terrified, freaking out. Okay. It says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. This place is going to be completely shut down. Okay, if you ever walked into an abandoned building, it has that stale, you know, smell in the air because there's no there's no AC, you know, there's no running water. Okay, you can tell when a house is abandoned because, you know, the air is stale. Okay, and that's how it's going to be everywhere. Okay, it says and it says friends shall fight one against another like enemies, because, you know, people, you know, they work together, you know, when they know that things are going to get back to normal. But when they come to the understanding that things are not going to get back to normal, it's going to be a dog eat dog world. People are going to be stepping all over each other, you know, robbing each other. It says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So we're about to see the end of this world as we know it. Okay, and I gotta say it, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's not the complete end of the world, but the world as we know it. You know, this society is going to crash. And then it brings me to what happened in Egypt too. Let me see. Let's see. Let me see. I'll just grab this. It says, this is Exodus chapter 10, verse 20. It says, but the Lord Yahawah hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And all this is about the children of Israel. Okay, quite frankly, you know, the judgment for the wicked and the salvation of the children of Israel. And we're in a time where the Lord is about to deliver us. So right now, America is modern day Egypt. Okay. It says, and the Lord Yahawah said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven. Salakia, you know, I hate that I yawned, you know, but it's these bodies, we got to be changed. It says, and Yahawah said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. You see? So the Lord, you know, he brought darkness. That was one of the plagues that came over Egypt. It was complete darkness. Okay, and it said darkness which can be felt. I mean, it gets so dark where you can't, if you ever went into a very, very dark room where you can't see anything but blackness, you know, you be, you know, moving very weary. You feel like someone can, you know, jump out and grab you. You know, if you was in a dark room where you couldn't see nothing, and somebody, you know, something rubbed against your leg, you're gonna freak out. Okay, so that's what's coming here to America. It says, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. Can you imagine, you know, being in complete darkness for 3 days? Okay, it says, they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwelling. So when this darkness comes, because ultimately these lights are going to go out, there will be, you know, times of complete darkness. The Lord's going to have us good. One of the brothers in the camp, the beloved brother Yakal, man, he had a beautiful vision where he said how we was, you know, it was all us, you know, down here in Tampa, you know, all the Israelites down here in Tampa, pretty much, you know, we was taken care of, you know, all the brothers in the camp and their families. He said we was in like this storehouse, and we had everything we needed: food, water, electricity, everything we needed, you know, while we was in the storehouse. So somehow, some way, the Lord's going to take care of us, but everybody else is going to be in complete darkness. All right, and this is why it's important to seek YAHAWASHI now. Let's go in the Apocrypha. Let me see. I brought this up the other day, but I don't know. I want to grab some of this again because, yeah, that's Wisdom of Solomon. Yep. So it says, This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. It says, "For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred." And you people out here that are not, nurtured in the spirit of Yahawah Shem Yahushai, you are an okay? You are through. This is why we tell you, Jakes. The Lord got us out there telling you, for a reason to repent, come back to Yahawah Shem Yahushai and truth and sincerity so that you can have a chance of being saved. But ultimately, if you don't, you will be destroyed. It says, "For when unrighteous man thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses and the prisoners of darkness." You see? And you seen the videos and the post-production, people was using their phones. People was, crashing their cars because there's no traffic lights, in a situation like that, people still have a sense of normality to them until, if you wait long enough, those phones are going to go out. Your car batteries are going to die. You can't charge your phone in your car anymore. That happens down here, like once a year or every other year when we get a hurricane. Okay, and I remember seeing it this past year or last year when we had the hurricane come through here. And, it was all through the spirit. It was all through the spirit, man, because the lights were out. They had little generators. They had to use generators to power the street lights. Then you had individuals that were stealing the generators. They take them home and use them for their own houses. But another thing is too, if you drive around like that when the city is completely dark, which I drove around a little bit, just to see what, to see the area. Man, I almost went and had to go pick up a brother. Bro, when I tell you, I was driving and it was so dark when my headlights really wasn't going that far in front of my car. And I would be driving, and as I'm driving, I would come into a point where there was a big old tree in the middle of the road. And I looked like they would cut, they couldn't cut all of it, so they would cut like half the tree to open up a lane. But you will not see this tree. It's like these big old trees will fall over in the road, and I couldn't see the tree until I got up on it. But if you were just driving, you would have ran and crashed into that thing, But it gets so dark where you literally can't see nothing. Can you imagine walking through your city or your town and you can't see anything? That's the time you're coming into. And then it's going to be a lot of violence, death, destruction. People going to be taking advantage of, the other people and stuff. It's going to be bad. All right. So the Lord is preparing us for this time that we're coming into. It says, "And fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay their exile from the eternal providence." It says, "For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions." And that's another thing. When something like this happens where the lights go out, when all hell does really break loose, the Lord going to have demons out there. Demons in the midst ready to jump on somebody, ready to beat the shit out of you. Some paranormal activity stuff. Okay? And that's another thing, man. The Lord is going to unleash, the spirit realm and have these demons out here jacking people up, in the middle of the night. Can't see nothing. You're just getting thrown around. You don't know what's throwing you. You don't know what's happening. You're just getting thrown around. Hey, the Lord is greatly to be feared. Okay? And this is why we serve Yahawah Shem Yahushai with fear and trembling, because we know that the Lord can do this. It says, "For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear." So they was hiding in the corner, terrified. Oh, so let me go back up. It says, "Being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions." As they say, ghosts, but really it's just spirits, demons. It says, "For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances." And that's another thing too. People when you went without electricity, or there was a study actually. It was not a recent study. It was a study they had. I read up about it, and they took these people. I believe they were prisoners actually, but they took them and they did an experiment where they put them in complete darkness for a number of days. Okay, and like 5 days, and people was bugged out. They was eating, each other. It was madness, but because they hadn't seen light. We're not meant to be in a situation where you have no light. But if somebody put you in total confinement where no light, there is absolutely no light. It takes effects on the body. Okay, it affects people's minds. and that's what that experiment showed. Salakia. But just just something as simple as light. Having some light is it can take a major toll on your mental. So these people out here that's bugged out, they're on all these psychotic drugs. When the lights go out and all hell really break loose, these people are gonna lose their minds. Okay, they're gonna be turned to complete demons. It says, no power of the night might give them light. So say you light a candle or something, or whatever, it's not gonna be able to help you. Okay, it's not going to be able to deliver you from this judgment. It says, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. You see? So this is just all a precursor to what's to come. These are just, a test drive for the time that we're coming into, where Jacob's trouble is going to pop up. People are going to be dying and, through. It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the things that they saw not. As for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. So these people out here that's dealing with witchcraft and sorcery, and they think they know something, they think they own something. These Christians that's really demonic, because they when you on that Christianity stuff, that's a demon, But they got a proud spirit about them right now, because life is good. But when all hell break loose and you calling upon your false god and they can't save you, you're doing your witchcraft and your sorcery and you're calling upon your demons and they can't save you, people are going to lose their minds. Okay. It says, for they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. And that's the time we're coming into, man. The Lord is about to really turn this place upside down, and a lot of these people are going to be getting laughed at. You're going to be getting laughed at. Okay, you're going to be getting scoffed and mocked. The Lord going to have demons laughing at. And they show you that in these movies and these shows where, it'll be like a situation where, people it's complete darkness and you're hearing stuff. I remember it was an episode of SpongeBob when I was growing up. It was like that when they was in the woods and it was all dark and stuff, and they was running around terrified. But then they was hearing stuff. They was hearing sound like animals, So it's just another reason to fear YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, bro. All right, because when the Lord really brings down the wrath, it ain't gonna be, no comfort. It ain't gonna be no thought of, things are gonna get back to normal. You're gonna know that, hey, this is it. It says, for though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by and hissing of serpents, they died of fear, denying that they saw the air, which could no side be avoided. So yeah, they was dying of fear. There was people was having heart attacks, losing their mind. All right, so the time we're coming into is gonna get worse, man. Shalom, coming to all up about the ball.